Okay, guys, the highlights from GreatStockPicks.com trading room on Wednesday, October 10th. This one, VRNG, I just had to have it on my watch list after this crazy move from 3 to over 550 and then this big red day yesterday. It just felt like a good stock to have on watch. Okay, so what happened was, I'll show you how I called it. It gapped down a little bit today, and I thought, okay, big move here, and then the sell-off. This has got to be on the gap down. I was thinking long, okay? It just made sense to me, and I'll show you how I called it. This is the opening 5-minute candle right here this morning. You can see that big sell-off yesterday. Oftentimes when you have something that looks like an obvious short, especially after that sell-off yesterday following that big move I just showed you, on a gap down, typically I think long, and I like to buy a break, especially if I get a little narrow candle like this. If I get a little narrow 5-minute opening range like this, I want to buy a break of the 5-minute high if it happens, okay? So if this takes out this candle's high, I'm going to go long, and I'm going to just simply put my stop right below that 5-minute candle. So it's a crystal clear setup, right? It's a crystal clear. There's no guessing. The entry call was over this candle, 439, and my worst case stop, 427. So 12 cents risk, and I mean within 10 minutes, it's up over 20 cents on a $4 stock, so over 5%. Ended up moving up about 8%. Really just chopped around the rest of the day and closed. Let's look at the daily now. Again, I don't know what to do with this daily. It's bizarre. But as far as a trader goes, it gave a very, very nice entry right here. Low risk and very, very nice percentage move. So it was a good way to start the day. Overall, just glancing at the SPY, it was kind of an aggravating day because what we had was just a slow, after the initial, we opened flat right here. We opened flat, took out the early highs right here, and then just started, sorry about that, we just started a slow grind lower, and then the last few hours straight sideways. So wasn't a great trading day. I expected a little more, considering it's the first official day of earnings season. But anyway, wasn't the best day. I'll show you a couple that I called. Let me show you my other nice one, was Arena Pharmaceuticals. ARNA. I had this on watch because, and this is what the chart looked like before today's candle, had this on watch because you could see you had a high here, an equal high here, and then a lower high, but you kind of had this little very tight flag pattern here, okay? And I liked it over this area. 907 was my original idea based on the daily chart, okay? I'm sorry, 908, because you had 907 high here, 907 high here, above this little daily base. You might make a move up towards this recent high of 942, which would be a nice percentage gain. So that's my thinking. Going into today, 907 was my idea. Now, let me switch to 5-minute candles and show you how I changed the entry idea a little bit. Okay, here I am zoomed in on 5-minute candles. Right here, this funky red one right here, this was the opening 5-minute candle. So I put in a high right here of whatever it was, 901, something like that, and then just put in some lower highs, but it was really just kind of in a tightening pattern. So my idea was if it got over this high, I think I said 903. So if it gets up to here, I want to go long. We have another catalyst, yesterday afternoon's high, a break of that, which would be 906, and then a break of yesterday's high. So you had what we call stacked catalysts here if we get to 903. Again, so right about here is my entry idea, and then boom, we might take this out and this out. Again, stacked catalyst, 903. The stop, I believe, was 9 cents below, 894, and there's the trigger, and I mean, wow, within just a couple minutes, we're at 917, and it spent the rest of the day just grinding it out, but ended up closing at the high right around 930. Sold my last little bit right before the close. I mean, I had like a 30-cent gain on a $9 stock on some of it, but it was never in danger of stopping out, really, or even revisiting our entry, save this one little spike down here. So it was a nice trade. It was nothing to really brag about, but the daily still looks good on it too. All right, you've got a crystal clear area that if it gets above, this could make a run to 10. I didn't hold any of this overnight, but it looks like it might be a decent overnight hold. And let me show you a couple that didn't work today. OCZ, this was one of my ideas. Now, huge gap down this morning. I'll switch to 5-minute candles. All right, and it was in a nice narrow range. I thought sometimes on a gap down, you end up realizing the gap down was overdone. Okay, so it had an early high of 207. as it started to come up here, I called it long if it breaks that 208. Worst case stop, just going to go below this candle at 2. Okay, so it was 8 cents risk, and it broke the high of the day, and I thought, wow, we're really going to rip here because the gap down was overdone, and it went right back down and stopped me out for 8 cents. So there's an example of one. I still don't look at that and think it was a dumb idea. It just didn't work. And there was another one that stopped out, ISIL. All right, had this on long watch, not long watch, but bounce watch. Take today's candle out of it, because it's almost just getting straight down here. So then this morning, kind of the same deal as OCZ that I just showed you. This morning it sells off early and really stayed in a narrow range. So it started to come back up here. I called it over the high of the day, 702. Worst case stop, 690. Again, 12 cents risk. Look at that. I thought, hey, we caught one. It's going to start ripping because it's way overdone. Matter of fact, it had a big range yesterday morning at the open. So I thought, hey, this one can move when it moves, and there might be some nervous shorts. I thought that's what. Anyway, long story short, this didn't follow through at all and stopped out. So another losing idea this morning there. And the rest of the day, I literally went hours this afternoon without calling anything. Reason being, once we broke the high of the day and then did this grind down, I just couldn't find anything while the market was grinding lower and then straight sideways. So I kind of expected better action today and just didn't get it. However, and I told everybody in chat this today, I'm optimistic about tomorrow. I'm very optimistic about tomorrow because I know we're going to have a lot of good setups. Okay, we've got the SPY, 4 days down in a row, testing the 50-day. You also have what was resistance here and support here. So you're in an area that it could turn, plus the 50-day, plus 4 days down in a row. So I'm very optimistic. When I go do my scans tonight, I know I'm going to come up with a good 10 probably or more bounce plays that I like the charts of that are down 3 or 4 days in a row to some price support. And we've got a really nice way of playing bounce plays if they set up the right way. So I'm optimistic about tomorrow, but today was just really kind of a pain in the butt, with the exception of Arena and VRNG, which were some decent little trades. All right, I'm not going to babble any further. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.